Most people believe their problem is money. They think they need more income, better opportunities, or a lucky break. But money is rarely the first problem. The real problem is that life keeps them busy enough to never notice what is actually missing. Busy feels responsible. Busy feels mature. Busy feels like progress. When someone asks how life is going, the answer is almost automatic. I've been really busy lately, and somehow that sounds like a badge of honor. No one questions it. No one worries about it. That is why it works so well. Every morning begins the same way. A routine shaped by urgency, not intention. Notifications arrive before the mind is fully awake. Messages wait for replies. Tasks line up in quiet demand. There is always something to handle, something to fix, something that feels important enough to take your attention right now. And so the day moves forward, not because you chose its direction, but because it pushed you along. At night, the body is tired, but the mind remains restless. Not because nothing was done, but because nothing truly moved. Hours were spent, energy was consumed, yet life feels strangely unchanged. Days pass like this, then weeks, then years, all filled with activity, but very little clarity. There is an ordinary person living this life. No dramatic story, no obvious tragedy. They wake up early, work hard, try to be responsible. They pay their bills on time. They answer messages quickly. They rarely miss a deadline. From the outside, everything looks fine. From the inside, there is a quiet sense of running, without knowing exactly where they are going. They believe that if they just stay disciplined, if they just keep going, things will eventually improve. Wealth, freedom, or peace will appear later, after enough effort has been invested. So they say yes more often than they should. They fill their schedule to avoid falling behind. They trade silence for productivity and thinking time for motion. What they do not realize is that busyness has slowly replaced direction. Their days are full, but their choices are shallow. Life becomes a long list of reactions, and when everything feels urgent, nothing feels meaningful. The invisible mistake is not laziness, or lack of intelligence, or poor luck. The mistake is confusing movement with progress. Most people make it without ever noticing. They believe that being constantly occupied means they are building something. In reality, they are simply maintaining momentum without control. Time becomes fragmented. Energy is scattered. Attention is spent on tasks that repeat, rather than decisions that compound. Opportunities pass quietly, not because they were hidden, but because there was no space to see them. When the mind is always busy, it cannot step back far enough to notice patterns. And wealth is built in patterns, not in moments. The turning point does not arrive as a crisis. There is no dramatic collapse, no sudden loss. It arrives as a small realization, often late at night, when everything finally goes quiet. The thought is simple, almost uncomfortable. I am exhausted, but nothing important has changed. For the first time, the person sees that their life is designed to keep them occupied, not fulfilled. That the system rewards responsiveness, not reflection. And that wealth, in any meaningful sense, requires space. Space to think long term. Space to say no. Space to sit with uncomfortable questions instead of escaping into activity. They begin to understand a quiet principle. Money follows focus, not effort alone. Time invested without direction drains life. Time invested with intention multiplies it. Just like seasons in nature, growth does not happen when everything is happening at once. It happens when there is patience, rest, and alignment. This realization does not change their life overnight. It softens it. They move slower, but think deeper. They protect small moments of silence. They stop measuring their worth by how busy they appear. And gradually, they feel less trapped by the day. Now, the story turns gently toward you. Not to instruct, not to pressure, but to invite reflection. How much of your day is truly chosen? How much is simply inherited urgency? If everything you do feels necessary, when do you have time to decide what actually matters? Wealth is not created in crowded schedules. It grows in the quiet spaces where thinking is allowed to mature. You do not need to do more. You need to see more clearly. And clarity rarely visits a busy mind. Perhaps the most powerful change is not an action, but a pause. A moment where you stop running, not because you are finished, but because you finally want to choose the direction. And maybe, just maybe, the life that feels like it is keeping you busy is asking you to slow down enough to truly see it.